So, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I'm happy to hear that you're hearing me, although I'm not able to hear your voice. So if you have any query, if you have any question, ask it from the public chats. I'll be able to answer it as it comes. So we were exhausting the first stage, and that is the colonial period era. In summary, I said we have three bodies that are so much important. I'm just repeating. We have said we have the crown agents, whom we are calling the colonial masters. We have the central tender committees, and then we have the procurement and supplies unit, which was established under the Minister of Public Works. I'm repeating under the Minister of Public Works because it's also an involvement. You shall be thinking now and telling me whether really procurement was supposed to be under the Ministry of Public Works. Something that we need to appreciate during this period, that is during the colonial era, most government organizations were very small, and therefore procurement and supplies was centralized. When we talk of centralized, it means that, of course, the Central Tender Board was the only board in the whole of Kenya that was meant to deal with all government tenders. We didn't have any other branch. So we are saying that, of course, we have now the purchasing of the procurement and supplies during that period going under further restructuring, and of course, now renaming the chief storekeeper, who was, of course, a white man. And he became the chairman of the Central Tender Board. The chief purchasing, the secretary. Let's go to the next stage. That is the period between 1963 and 1978. If you're keen enough, even before we explain anything, you can understand that is the period between when we got our independence until when we lost our first president of Kenya, that is Jomo Kenyatta. So it is the period between 1963 and 1978. So in 1963, of course, we are seeing Kenya attaining its independence. And of course, we shall see, even after attaining the independence, procurement is still continuing to be handled the same way by the colonial masters, by the crown agents, the way it was up to around 1970s. Around 1974, there was a major shift, and I'm saying there was a major shift when the Central Tender Board was placed under the Treasury from the Ministry of Public Works. So we are now seeing the Central Tender Board moving from the Ministry of Public Works, going initially in the colonial period. Central Tender Board procurement was under the Ministry of Public Works. But later in 1974, we are seeing procurement moving from the Ministry of Public Works to Ministry of Finance, that is under the Treasury. We also seen some further restructuring. We are seeing now the chairman of the Central Tender Board changing now from being a white man, as we said, but now the Deputy Secretary, Minister of Finance. So now the chairman of the Central Tender Board changes now, is now the Deputy Secretary, Minister of Finance, and the Secretariat. When we talk of the Secretariat, we are talking of the board, all the members of the Central Tender Board. Now, for the first time, they came from the supplies branch. We also seen another major introduction during this period, and that is the introduction of the supplies manual in 1978. What was the work of the supplies manual? The supply manual